Well, good morning, everybody. My name is Larry Jacobs. This is Pre-K-12 Education Talk Radio, and it is May 7th, 2024. Thanks for being with us today. We have a very special guest for you today. We have Ms. Rosie Rios. Rosie was the 43rd Treasurer of the United States. That's right. She served in that position under President Biden. All right, and Obama, and she is now, chairperson of the America 250 celebration, the United States Congressional Commission charged with planning the 250th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence. All right, how about that? There's a whole big word for you, semi-quincentennial, the 250th birthday, semi-quincentennial, all right? And Rosie's going to be with us, and she's going to be talking about the America 250 celebration, the America's field trip. And I have to send a big thank you to my friend Stephen Wakefield over at Discovery for putting together this show. I'm so honored to have Ms. Rios here. I mean, it's really just incredible. She's also going to talk about what the Treasurer of the United States does. Okay, because I don't think a lot of people really understand that. So at any rate, we're going to have a wonderful show, and we'll get you all these resources, information, etc., about the America 250 celebration. We're going to archive at ace-ed.org, our home website. Check it out. Everything we do over there, including our new issue, which honors all the Equity Award winners for 2024. You're going to love it. ace-ed.org. You can enter next year. We have the Equity Award information over there, et cetera, et cetera. We do a lot of work in equity and K-12 education, and I know that's of interest to Ms. Rios, Madam Treasurer. How do I address you, Madam Treasurer? I'm Larry. You can
Hi,
call
Larry.
me Larry.
Just please call me Rosie, please.
Well, thank you, Rosie. I appreciate that, okay? And, wow, what a life you've had. And you're only 23 years old, right?
Actually, my daughter's 23. I'm 33. So there you go.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Okay. Congratulations on everything you've accomplished. Honored as one of USA Today's Women of the Century. Served on the Treasury Transmission. There you go. Transition team, etc. Sorry about that. Not transmission. Transition. Okay. And so thank you for the automatic as opposed to the 4-speed, Rosie. I appreciate that. But I love this. You're the 43rd Treasurer of the United States. You initiated and led the efforts, I love this, to place a portrait of a woman on U.S. currency. Can you just talk about that very quickly? That's wonderful.
Absolutely. Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me. I just love all that you do. You use one of my favorite words at the beginning, which is equity. Equity means everything to me. I'm from the private equity world, but I think it's more important to talk about equity, especially in this next generation of leadership. So you're singing my song.
Yes. You got it. Thank you, Rosie. Thank you. Okay. Tell us about this. The move to put a portrait of a woman on U.S. currency. And I want to say something else since we're segueing here a little bit. You went to Harvard, and in Harvard's 388-year history, since 1632, I think, you were the first Latina to have a portrait commissioned in your honor. More portraits.
Yes.
I mean, it's unbelievable to talk about this. This is great.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much. And look, yes, that was definitely one of my awakenings, if you will, when I was on the Treasury transition team in the fall of 2008 at the height of the financial crisis. As you can imagine, it was a very, very stressful time, not just for our country, but for the world in terms of kind of the economic house on fire. And it was during that time on the transition team where I would take my breaks. You know, I don't remember sleeping or eating. I just remember, again, what we had to do to put the economy back on track. And I would take my breaks in the Historical Resource Center of Treasury. And people wouldn't realize Treasury just didn't produce currency. I mean, it was one of the first things that President George Washington did when he became president in 1789. He appointed Alexander Hamilton as Secretary of the Treasury. So they actually produced all the financial products of the federal government, and everything from postage stamps to savings bonds to military payment certificates to food stamps. In fact, they still produce a security page of your passport. So I would take my breaks in the Resource Center, which had all the beautiful kind of documents, renderings, concepts, drawings. And, you know, when you're in a kind of a state of heightened awareness with stress, you kind of, you know, notice things that you otherwise wouldn't notice. And I saw a pattern that of all these concepts and renderings, every single image that I came across of a woman was not a real woman. They were allegorical, like, you know, like statues of liberties, right? But every single image that I came across of a man, exactly, all the allegorical, the allegorical symbols of values, absolutely. But every single image that I came across of a man was a real man, a founding father, a president, a cabinet secretary, and I just thought to myself, well, this is odd. And so I did a little bit of homework, and I'm looking around, and I realized that, yes, we as a country have never had the portrait of a woman on our Federal Reserve notes in the history of our great nation. Yet at that time, there were almost 30 countries who had women on the modern-day currency, and we weren't one of them. And so, you know, it was of that time period, I was about one of 24 finance professionals who were brought in to implement the legislation that Congress had already passed to put the economy back on track. And of those 24 or so, about half a dozen
what year are you
recommended
talking about? You're talking about 2008?
This is 2008. This is the fall of 2008. And of the 24 or so folks who were on the transition team, about half a dozen were recommended for a permanent appointment in the Obama administration, and I was one of them. And so I literally had this particular project in mind. I cobbled together my portfolio. I asked to be Treasurer of the United States to focus on this, of course, you know, in kind of covertly, if you will. And I worked on it for most all of my time there. 8 years. I was the longest serving senior Treasury official in the administration.
Well, you are something. I got to tell you.
And still working on it. Not over.
It's just amazing what you've done. Okay, it's just incredible. And I just have to say, Harvard, I want to go over this for a second. You had a portrait commissioned in your honor. I don't mean to, you can glow, this is wonderful. Okay, at Harvard. Okay, when was that? Okay, that's really cool.
My portrait, ready for this? Yeah, my portrait was unveiled in Winthrop House, which is where I lived as an upperclassman, my sophomore, junior, senior years at Harvard.
Oh, wow.
My portrait is in the common room of Winthrop House, and it was unveiled in 2019. But here's the best part. Ready for this? In 2019, it was unveiled in the same week that my son also graduated from Harvard. So it was surreal. Well, thank you. So it was great to have my family there to celebrate my son more than anything. And it was interesting when Harvard was letting me know that they wanted to have it unveiled during that time period. I kind of felt, wait a minute, I don't want to take away from my son's commencement. I want this to be about him. And so I asked him, I said, Joey, I said, they're actually asking me if it's okay to unveil the portrait in the week of your graduation. I said, I don't want to do that, and take away from you. And he says, Mom, this is about me. I wouldn't have it any other way. It was amazing. It was exactly the way it should have been. It was just a beautiful
moment. If it wasn't for you, Joey
wouldn't
have been there. I got news for you.
Well, no. That's not, he got a perfect score in his SAT. Oh,
I know
he did just fine.
No, I don't mean it that way. You're his mom. You gave birth to him, okay? He's yours.
Thank you. And to have my mom there, right? My mom,
that is great.
Me, and then my kids. Yeah, exactly. And this is as much about recognizing the past, connecting the dots to the future and to the present, and then inspiring the next generation of leadership. That's exactly the way I think about recognition, connection, inspiration.
Rosie, you really are something, and I'm just so glad you're here today. I'm honored to have you here. I mean, you really are. And what are you doing these days besides this full time with America 250?
Oh my goodness!
What are you doing?
Well, no. I mean, I look. I mean, I've made this my full time job, even though I'm a humble volunteer on this effort. But it's absolutely 25 hours a day, 8 days a week. This is a very important milestone for our country, and it is something that I'm honored and privileged to work on. Absolutely.
And I'm from Philadelphia, so that makes it even more important to me.
Well, Larry, do you remember the bicentennial? I mean, you're probably too young to remember.
I'm so old, I remember the centennial. Okay. Right.
Well,
if you look carefully at the Declaration of Independence, you'll see my signature. Okay.
Well, I mean, look, I remember the bicentennial like it was yesterday.
Yeah.
I remember the bicentennial like it was yesterday. I remember very well seeing the tall ships coming through the New York and Boston harbors on our black and white TV. I remember taking a field trip as a fifth grader to the Freedom Train, to the Oakland train station. I was a kid in the Bay Area, 11 years old. Yeah, no, and by the way, ready for this? I still have my bicentennial quarter from 1976.
Wow.
Now, as an 11-year-old, that's my life savings, right? That's my life savings. And now I carry it with me everywhere I go. It's a full circle moment. But look, July 4th, 1976, in Hayward, California, it was a cloudy night, but those fireworks were never brighter. I was never more proud to be an American than that evening. It was just a really fabulous moment. And look, my parents came from Mexico in 1958 to Hayward, California, because my dad was a seasonal migrant worker, and there was the Hunt's tomato factory in Hayward, and so. Yeah, so I am the American dream. My kids are the American dream, and it would not have been possible without my mom. I mean, just 2 seconds. My mom, who ended up, my father was abusive. My mom ended up raising all 9 of us as a single parent and sent all 9 of us off to college. It's an incredible story, and it really is about her. It is not my story. It is her story.
What can I say on that? Bless her heart. That's
yeah.
I just got the idea for whose picture should be on who should be the first lady on the currency. Okay, your mom.
My mom. It should be my mom. And here's the thing. I mean, in order to be on currency, you have to be on U.S. currency. You have to be American, obviously, and unfortunately, you have to be deceased. And when I left Treasury, one of the items that my staff gave me, it could not the Bureau of Engraving and Printing, some of the best employees in the federal government, they gave me a rendering of my mom on the $10 bill. It was just, I mean, it was the most beautiful thing ever. And my mom recently passed away, by the way.
Oh, sorry.
So no, it's great. And I got to tell you, she has never been more alive than what I feel today. She's with me all the time, and it's incredible. That's what keeps me going on what we're doing. And one more tidbit, and then let's talk about America's field trip. Ready for this? Yeah. I was actually the student representative for Harvard's 350th anniversary in 1986.
Wow!
Like, you can't make this up. You can't make this up.
No, you can't. It's what a life is all I can tell you, and you deserved every minute of it. And God bless your mom.
Thank you. Thank you.
I mean, what an amazing lady. 9 kids, put them all through college from being a immigrant to our country. Okay, was she also? Did she come over from Mexico, or did just that?
Yeah, absolutely, both of them. 1958, absolutely. They just got married. They came and landed in the Bay Area, and I still live in the Bay Area, and it's now obviously Silicon Valley. And but I got to tell you, look, I mean, we are still the land of opportunity. This is still the country that people want to come to, that they still want to risk their lives to come to. And look, that is exactly what I want to think about as I think about 2026. I want as many Americans as possible to feel like this is the land of opportunity all over again, especially this next generation, right? They got to feel it. They got to visualize it, and it's going to happen through education. It's going to happen through these historic milestones of understanding how we became not just the oldest democracy in the world, but the best democracy in the world, and why we are the model for all other countries.
Yeah, and I just want to say, and by the way, you're talking to an old history teacher, emphasis on both old and history, okay? It's amazing. We always talk about immigrants seeing this as the land of opportunity, but I know what you're doing here with America 250. Americans have to still see this as the land of opportunity, okay?
Absolutely.
It still is for every kid, okay? And we've got to make them aware, okay, of that and show them that they may not be thinking it like you probably never thought it, but look at you, okay, and became the treasurer of the United States of America. I mean, it's not everybody's going to do that, but everybody deserves the right to pursue happiness, if I may. Okay, and that's what it's all about.
No, that's well, and especially this next generation of millennials and post-millennials, right? If you look at how they feel right now, right? A lot of them are a little cynical. They had to live through the pandemic. They, perhaps aren't very trustful at the moment. We need to show them their future. And what you're going to see in most of our programming for America 250, it's very visual, it's very interactive. It's going to connect people in a way that we kind of lost during COVID, bring them back, and really kind of think about and visualize their future in a way that we really kind of lost. And we want to bring that back. And that's why what we're doing, and starting with America's Field Trip, again, very, these are experiences. This is a journey. This isn't just about a fireworks show on July 4th, 2026. This is a journey to be that more perfect union, and it's not a one and done. We're going to continue this journey long past 2026.
Yep, we got to keep doing it, making it ever more perfect union. So now we've said it a lot of times. Let's talk about it. America 250, that's the name of the celebration. And by the way, another great word, the same word, semi-quincentennial, 250. Okay, there's
that's right.
I know another, Rosie, I know another big word, delicatessen. You can use that anytime you want. Okay, semi-quincentennial.
I'll never forget that one.
Yeah, please use it. Okay, that's a toughie. Okay, sounds like something that the kids in the spelling bee would have to do. Okay, talk about America 250. Okay, and let's start there. The America 250 group. Yeah. You're the chair. Okay. And then, okay, we're going to talk about what involved in that is the America's field trip, which is extremely interesting. But just talk about the generic celebration first. Go ahead.
Absolutely. So America 250 is a nonpartisan initiative that's working to engage every American in commemorating and celebrating the 250th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence. It's spearheaded by a congressionally appointed U.S. Semi-Quincentennial Commission, and it's a nonprofit supporting organization, includes America250.org. So we are basically a congressional commission that was formed by legislation in 2016, 24 members, all appointed by the House and Senate majority and minority leaders. So of the 24, it's 16 private citizens, 8 standing members of Congress, 4 from the Senate, 4 from the House, and we're exactly half Republican, half Democrat. But look, we all decided very early on that we are bipartisan, all-partisan, nonpartisan. Yeah. And I must say, the appointing officials, which are, again, the House and Senate majority and minority leaders, they've all said a variation of 3 things. One is no party politics allowed. So thankfully, no political ideology has made its way through any of our conversations. You know, 2, they said, we can't fail. There's no extension. There's no do-over, and the country really needs this, and we need something to believe in. We you know, government actually can work, and I think we're a great example of that. And 3, actually, they all said, how can we help? And so, you know, we launched our first public initiative last July 4th called America's Invitation, kind of our, you know, dipping our toe in the water, really kind of raising awareness that this 3-year milestone is coming up, and really kind of mobilizing people into actions with the video portal, where you can upload your video at America's Invitation on our website, America250.org, and every single appointing official submitted a video, except for McConnell, who wasn't feeling well, but everyone else submitted their video. It's on our website, you know, and it's been just an amazing experience, I think, for all of us to really think about the support that we've engendered already, but obviously daunting about how much more we need to do, and really America's field trip, we intentionally wanted to start with the next generation. I mean, look, as we build up to July 4th, 2026, we're really working to provide opportunities for all Americans to really pause and reflect on our nation's past, honor the contributions of all Americans, and most importantly, look to the future we want to create for the next generation and beyond. And so this is really an inflection point for our country.
And it is, and I'll say this, that everybody knows, I hope they realize that we are a nation of immigrants. You're a living example. Well, we are a nation of immigrants. Yeah, and we have to go ahead.
I mean, we're a nation of nations. I mean, look back at 1776, right? So Alaska was Russia. Hawaii was its own kingdom. You know, California, where I was born and raised, was Mexico. Think about Texas. Texas at one point had 6 different flags flying over it.
That's right. And Louisiana was French. Louisiana was French.
The Louisiana Purchase doubled our footprint of our country with France. You know, there's Spain in there, but let's not forget, interspersed through all of that is the indigenous enslaved experience. So this nation of nations kind of concept, and really thinking about our states. And our states have really their own very, very complicated, challenging history, which is why obviously the states absolutely are partners with us as we think about this. Really, really excited, again, that we've gotten the support that we need for the states. In fact, I was one of the keynote speakers for the National Governors Association Conference in D.C. in March.
Oh, nice.
And I loved, I mean, they could not be more excited about what we're all trying to do together. I mean, they are the sovereigns, right? They are the king and queens of the castle of their own respective jurisdictions. So for them, this is a great opportunity to tell their state stories, and more importantly, what they also want to do for the states in the future. And this is a great, again, for everyone to be engaged. When people say, who are you going to get engaged? My response is the same, 350 million Americans. I mean, there's something for everyone here, and we all have to feel like this is our commemoration and our celebration.
It's just wonderful. And then part of this is America's field trip, and that's for students.
Yeah.
All right? And educators need to understand and get involved. Rosie, do that one, America's field trip.
Absolutely.
And by the way, I have it linked, everybody, but it's america250.org. But it's linked.
That's right.
Okay?
That's right. And look, America's field trip literally came in my sleep. Literally, it was almost 2 years ago. Absolutely true. America's field trip is really it's an opportunity for young people to get involved and ensure that their voices are heard. It's a national student competition that asks a very simple question to grades 3 through 12: what does America mean to me? And look, this is a great way to unleash their creativity, submitting their artwork, their videos, their essays. And the beauty of this is the first place awardees will receive, a once-in-a-lifetime experience visiting some of America's most iconic landmarks. That's why it's called America's Field Trip. And so, I mean, it's no accident that we're starting with this next generation of leadership. But look, I mean, as a senior official in the Obama administration, I had a chance to experience a lot of these great, backstage field trips, if you will. And the thought that we are starting with students, we're starting with educators, we're starting with schools. I mean, this is really, a great way to again, for them to feel. When you write something, when you create something, you feel something, right? That third dimension. So to have these kids think about, again, what this great country means to them, and it's going to mean America means different things to different people, right? But out of the mouths of babes, this is what we want to hear. And this is where, by the way, I'm going to tout Discovery Education. We have such a great partner with them. I mean, look, they are the ones who've developed the resources for educators, right? These resources are designed to deepen students' understanding and engagement with our nation's history as they develop contest submissions and answer, again, this fabulous question about what America means to me. So leveraging this partnership with Discovery Education, it's their award-winning platform, giving educators instructional inspiration and saving time by packaging digital content and proven strategies into a turnkey student-facing resource. We could not be more proud to be with them. And so there are, what I will call these toolkits for educators. And look, can I just tell you my one favorite educator story?
Sure,
as we were doing the public engagement process for asking America who should be considered for our currency in 2015, literally August of that summer, 2015, I get an email from my high school history teacher, Mr. Wilder, whose class I had taken 34 years prior. And he sent me an email congratulating me on what we were trying to do with our currency, but he also wanted to thank me. Ready for this? So after 34 years of, at that time, being a history teacher at my high school, Moreau Catholic High School in Hayward, California, he walked into the classroom that morning when he saw my interview on CNN, and he realized that in his, 30-plus years of teaching American history, he never had the image of a woman on his classroom walls. And he wanted to change it, and he did. He invited me back that fall.
Wow.
I walked into that same classroom, and there on the walls were Harriet Tubman, Susan B. Anthony, and me. I mean, it was daunting.
Wow.
It was really daunting. But it dawned on me. It dawned on me. If one teacher or 100 teachers or 1,000 teachers did the same thing, can you imagine what that does for our girls and our boys, right? So again, how we, what we normalize, it comes back to this one question. We value what we see every day, but do we see what we value, right? And what we normalize and thinking about, again, whether it is, women in history, whether it is our own very complicated history of our country, right? The good, the bad, and the ugly. We literally evolved as a country, and we're still evolving. And so as we think about this continuous journey, right, as we think about this continuous journey and hearkening back, again, to America's field trip, about rediscovering our country again, rediscovering it physically, rediscovering it retrospectively, right? And so if you are selected as a award recipient, to be able to take, the tour of the Statue of Liberty, it's not just going to be the public tour. You know what I mean? You're likely going to get maybe in the crown or maybe in the torch. You're going to get to have this escorted trip with you and your chaperone. Maybe get to hear, the secrets of the Statue of Liberty that wouldn't be on the public tour. You can choose Yellowstone Park. You can choose my beautiful Golden Gate Park and have a candlelit tour. Again, that's never been offered. By the way, the American History Museum at the Smithsonian is opening up the vault. Oh my gosh! And there's so many great things that are being planned. Some I can't tell publicly yet. They're being developed, but there's going to be so many great things. And look, we want to show. I mean, we also have federal agencies who are also part of our commission, right? So the Smithsonian, the Library of Congress, the National Archives, the Department of the Interior, and the wonderful National Park Service. Tom Medema, giving you a shout out. They have been so amazing in putting together the bulk of these.
Yeah.
They're amazing. Putting together a bulk of these experiences specifically for our national parks. We want people to get out there and rediscover our park system. We want people to get out there and rediscover the National Archives, who has over 40, by the way, physical structures around the country. The Smithsonian's footprint is everywhere. So how do we think about this? It's not just about D.C. It's not just about Philadelphia. It's sea to shining sea. Here's what I say. It's Guam to Alaska, Fairbanks to Philadelphia, and everything in between. That's why, by the way, when we launched America's Invitation last July 4th, we launched in the great state of Wisconsin, nice purple state with Major League Baseball. This is literally at the Milwaukee Brewers against the Chicago Cubs, right? Baseball, hot dogs, and apple pie. But look, our focus is on Middle America in every sense of the word. So it's really, really exciting.
And everything. So it's great stuff. And I have to say a couple of things. First of all, I love Fairbanks to Philadelphia. One of those begins with an F, and the other one begins with a PH. I just want to make sure everybody knows that. Okay. That's it. Okay. B, I got to say this. Two things. A, the National Park Service, a lot of people take them for granted. They have great educational programs. You go to a national park, you will see they give you the history, they give you everything else. This is all part of their educational stand. They are fabulous. And the other thing I want to say, since you brought it up, okay, I work a lot with Discovery, Rosie. Okay, and yesterday I did a show with them about how they're working on STEM, science, technology, engineering, math. And that's extremely important these days. Okay, but okay, what you're doing, and I want to show how varied they are. Okay. You're doing work in civics and history with them, okay? And that's what this is about. This isn't STEM, although kind of everything is, okay? It's civics and history, okay? We're talking about a company that's involved in education in all parts of, okay? So I just wanted to say all those things you talked about are just great. And at what grade? I think, is this grades 3 to 12?
3 through 12. 3 through 12. And the clock is ticking here. I mean, this is a pilot program. We launched officially on March 4th, but submissions are going to be accepted until May 17th. So 10 days, and we have 10 days left on this.
Wow.
So again, the clock is ticking here. So whether through a class, an extracurricular group, after-school program, or during homeschooling, students who want to participate will need the help of a teacher, a parent, or guardian to submit an entry along with the approval of the parent or guardian. So again, everything is on America250.org. You'll see America's Field Trip on there. We want as many people as possible to enter before May 17th. It's important to remember, again, that this is a pilot program. We plan to grow and expand this contest, including more field trips and more award recipients in 25 and 26. And look, if we do this right, this is going to continue long after 2026.
It's going to be huge. It's going to be huge. And everything's over at America250.org. And again,
that's right.
Although the idea is the same for all, okay, obviously if you're a third grade teacher versus 11th grade teacher, there's a difference, okay? Check it all out. Everything's over there, okay, at America250.org. And boy, did they pick the right person, okay, to run this thing. You are amazing, okay? You are amazing.
Oh, my goodness, Slate. You just made my day.
Well,
thank
you made
you
mine.
so much. And look, thank you for what you do. Look, I mean, I'm a big believer in teachers. I am a big believer in teachers. I still keep in touch with Mr. Wilder, by the way. You know, I went to the funeral of my third grade teacher not that long ago. I love my teachers. Look, our kids spend more time with our teachers than most parents. So we got to give them a huge shout out and a very, very big thank you. They shaped me. They made me who I am, along with my mom and my daughter, by the way. I got to give a shout out to Brookie. She's still, everything I learned, I still learn from her every day.
That's so sweet. You're a wonderful person, Rosie. Thank you. Thank you for taking time out of a busy day for being here. Okay, we're going to get the word
Larry,
out for you.
Invite me back. I want to come back.
You're welcome here
when
anytime.
we do the next round. Let's do this. Let's do this again, and we'll talk about all the fabulous field trips that happen. Thank you, Larry. You're great. I really appreciate this.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Talk to you soon. Thank
Bye,
you.
Rosie. Bye-bye. Wow, she's something or what? That's Rosie Rios, everybody. 43rd Treasurer of the United States, now the Chair of America 250, the U.S. Congressional Commission, charged with planning the 250th anniversary. That's the semi-quincentennial, okay, of the signing of the Declaration of Independence. And if you haven't seen the movie or the show 1776, please do so. Okay, you'll enjoy it. Okay, and wow, thank you, Rosie. Thank you, Discovery. We're going to archive over at ace-ed.org, and everybody have a wonderful day. My name's Larry Jacobs. This is Pre-K-12 Education Talk Radio, and thank you for listening.